Welcome to the Reddit mic. Today, we're diving headfirst into the, let's say, raw and unfiltered world Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit, where people share incredibly painful experiences with infidelity.
We'll look at how the cheating was discovered, what happened right after, and the community reaction,
Right.
which can be pretty surprising sometimes.
Oh, definitely. Contentious even. So get ready for, well, a pretty fascinating look at human behavior under immense pressure. Trust, betrayal.
And how these public forums sort of become these stages for very private drama, but also sometimes collective wisdom.
Okay, so let's kick off with our first story. This one started with a secret affair and spiraled into something truly unbelievable.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's being called the Bachelor Party affair. Get this. A 30-year-old wife discovers her 32-year-old husband hired her close friend, Rebecca, a 26-year-old stripper, for his bachelor party 4 years prior.
Hired her friend, who is a stripper.
Yep. And both of them, the husband and the friend, kept this secret for 4 years.
Wow. That immediately raises profound questions about trust and boundaries, breached long before the truth even came out.
Absolutely. The wife's initial reaction was this painful mix of betrayal by both her husband and her friend, even while she tried to acknowledge, okay, it was Rebecca's job.
But the secrecy for 4 years, that creates an incredibly volatile situation just waiting to blow up.
And blow up it did. When the wife confronted them, they offered wildly conflicting stories. Rebecca claimed the husband groped and pushed her when she refused him.
Okay.
The husband claimed Rebecca tried to initiate intimacy while he was blackout drunk.
He said, she said. Classic deflection tactic.
Totally. The wife found herself torn, unsure who to believe, just feeling utterly sick of them both. She mentioned her husband could be a mean drunk, but this specific alleged behavior confused her because he was usually soft-spoken.
That internal conflict, the confusion, that sounds like potential gaslighting territory right there, making her doubt her own judgment.
Right. But the layers of deception just kept coming. It turns out they both eventually confessed to an ongoing affair.
An ongoing affair, not just the bachelor party.
Correct. And then, the truly shocking truth, Rebecca's baby was, in fact, the husband's.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then Rebecca moved into the husband's house within days of the wife finding all this out.
Days. That underscores how calculated and premeditated their actions must have been. It wasn't just a mistake.
It was just an astounding unraveling. The wife, reflecting on her marriage later, came to this painful realization. She felt she'd been the sole person trying to keep it together, relying too heavily on him for giving a lot of difficult behavior.
So the foundation was already weak?
Seems like it. She felt the discovery of the affair just sped things up. She divorced him, obviously, severed all ties with Rebecca,
Understandable.
and even messaged Rebecca's other partner to inform him about the paternity.
Wow. Spreading the truth.
The online commentary on this one, a lot of people expressed just disbelief at how quickly it all escalated, like revelation after revelation, almost like a fictional plot hitting all the dramatic tropes.
But sadly, real life. It just highlights how deep-seated dishonesty can fundamentally dismantle a life built on, well, false premises.
Completely. Okay, let's shift gears. Story number 2. The cake baker, the daughter's friend, and a whole lot of deception.
Right. So this involves a couple. OOP is 40F, husband is 42M, and it starts with the husband confessing something seemingly really distressed.
About their daughter's friend, Ava. She's 18.
Yeah. He spins the story. He made her a birthday cake. Apparently he makes amazing decorative cakes. That was the detail.
Okay, random skill.
Ah, yeah. Then he says Ava initiated contact, started sending photos, escalating from clothed to nude, and then supposedly she flashed him while he was fixing her car.
And his claim was he didn't engage.
He insisted he never replied to her messages, hundreds of them apparently, and he kept them as evidence.
Keeping messages as evidence already sounds a little strategic.
Doesn't it? It sets him up as the victim from the get-go. Classic gaslighting, maybe, making OOP doubt herself.
And Opie's reaction wasn't subtle.
Not at all. Explosive, called him a pervert, accused him of leading Ava on, paying her, being too old and ugly, told him to get out, blamed him for ruining their daughter's life. Just unleashed.
Wow. And the immediate fallout.
Husband leaves, goes to his brothers, says he wants a divorce, and their daughter decides to go live with him too.
Ouch. That's huge. But OOP regretted the outburst quickly.
Yeah, felt immediate remorse. Tried the whole apology routine, flowers, chocolates, wearing his favorite outfit. but he rejected it. So seeing her just gave him anxiety and need to run.
And his excuse for not telling her sooner. Her job stress and the daughter's exam.
Yep. Convenient timing, perhaps. Plausible deniability.
But the Reddit comments, they weren't buying it. They brought up OOP's own past.
They did. Pointed out OOP admitted to some past indiscretions, kissing other guys, letting someone touch her over her clothes, and crucially, how the husband reacted calmly, even nicely, when she got propositioned.
So perceived hypocrisy.
And maybe a pattern. Plus, OOP had offered him a threesome before, which he refused, saying he only had eyes for her. Commenters felt strongly she was blaming the victim, her husband, and that her huge reaction wasn't just a one-off, even if she claimed it was.
There was clearly more going on under the surface. And then the twist.
The big one. It didn't come from the husband, or OOP. It came via their daughter's friend.
What did you see?
She saw Ava getting into the husband's car on the very night he claimed Ava just flashed him while he worked on it.
So Ava couldn't maintain the lie anymore.
Exactly. She confessed. First to the daughter, then to OOP. The truth was, the husband had responded positively. He asked her to flash him. His whole initial story was a fabrication.
Wow. So the evidence messages were
likely carefully curated or just part of the manipulation. Because the real communication, the constant begging for photos, that happened on Telegram, not WhatsApp, which he showed OOP.
sneaky, using different apps.
Totally. And he'd lied to Ava, too. Told her he and OOP were splitting up.
Oh, that's low. Fueling your crush.
Definitely manipulative. And they did do stuff that night in the car and again in the garage later. He even snuck her in the back gate to avoid the Ring doorbell. His whole designated driver alibi for that night, also a lie.
Yeah, he covered all his bases. But how did OOP know for sure Ava was telling the truth this time?
The clincher. Ava mentioned a very specific physical detail about the husband, that he has one ball.
Okay, that's definitive proof.
Undeniable. Suddenly, the husband's distressed confession made perfect sense. It wasn't remorse, it was panic. Ava's friends saw them, the story was about to break, so he tried to get ahead of it with his own twisted version.
Damage control.
Pure damage control. And OOP had this huge realization. Her gut had been telling her something was wrong. Those Reddit commenters she argued with, they were right.
She apologized to them. That takes humility.
It does. She blocked the husband, planned a spa trip with her daughter. Still confused about why he did it, especially given her openness, but determined to move on.
What a story. The gaslighting, the manipulation.
Yeah.
It's staggering. And how one outburst, maybe fueled by that gut feeling, just shattered everything.
It really shows how deep deception can run and how painful it is to finally see someone's true character. All right, moving on to the next story.
This one starts with just a raw shock. A cheating sex tape, but then it gets even more complicated. International cybercrime enters the picture.
Yeah, this is intense. So we have the original poster, OP, and his girlfriend, Jamie. They've been together 8 years. Seems solid, you know?
8 years is a long time. You think you know someone?
Right. But that foundation just crumbled. And the way it happened, it's bizarre. An acquaintance, Mike, he's browsing these niche porn sites.
Okay.
And he sees a video. Recognizes Jamie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he tells a mutual friend, Alex, who then has to tell the OP.
How do you even deliver that news? And OP's reaction, I mean, the post said it was visceral.
Totally. Shock, numbness, then he actually threw up, physically sick. And the detail about the video being edited straight to the action, her face visible, just brutal.
It's a complete violation.
Yeah.
And luckily, Alex, the friend, he stepped up.
Big time. Made OP stay at his place, kept him away from the shared apartment initially.
Yeah.
Smart move.
So important to have that support. So eventually, OP has to face her.
Yeah, he described feeling like he was wading through water, just numb, knowing it was probably over. The confrontation happened in their apartment.
He mentioned the kitchen table, didn't he? Something about seeing the table they built together.
He did. That specific detail, something they shared, built together, and then seeing her, that's when the dam broke, as he put it.
And Jamie's reaction.
Immediate breakdown. Totally unresponsive. Comatose-like, OP said. It was so severe it actually snapped him out of his own anger for a moment.
Well, so he calls her parents.
Yep, Alice and Julio, they rush over. But OP, he couldn't even tell them the whole truth at first, just said she was having a breakdown.
Which, I mean, she kind of was. The psychologist later called it a spontaneous nervous breakdown.
Exactly. Triggered by that acute stress, the shock. Not necessarily a prior condition, but just the sheer weight of it all hitting at once.
So Jamie eventually comes around, becomes responsive the next day.
She does. And that's when she claims the video was non-consensual.
Okay, so that adds another huge layer.
A massive one. Her family reports it to the cybercrime police. Suddenly, it's not just infidelity, it's a potential crime. You've got Jamie's state, the parents' shame, her sister Jackie trying to manage everything.
And they wanted OP's parents involved. Because of past marriage talk. That seems awkward.
OP felt it was disrespectful, yeah. But he was so exhausted, he just went along with it. The psychologist, by the way, apparently almost called the police on OP himself.
What? Why?
Just based on the situation, maybe. Yeah. But the family convinced them not to, pointing out there was no physical trauma to Chimi. It just shows how fraught everything was.
Unbelievably fraught. And it didn't end there, did it? There was another incident.
No, it's just 8 days later. Middle of the night call from Alice. Jamie's having another episode, depressive, got a kitchen knife, locked herself in the bathroom yelling for OP.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Terrifying. OP races over there, nearly crashes his car twice. He sees her, described her as a fucking wreck, and all his anger just melts.
He remembered how she supported him through his own depression.
Exactly. That history, that bond, it's powerful. He held her, she apologized, begged him to stay. And the family, they were desperate. Alice was doing chemo. Julio had his business. Jackie had her job. They pleaded with OP to help.
And he agreed, even after everything.
He did, reluctantly. He admitted later it was a fuck-up, driven by that lingering attachment and respect for her folks. It's so easy to get pulled back in, you know?
Yeah, especially when someone you cared about is in that state. But he did take steps for himself too, right? Therapy.
Yes, thankfully. Behavioral therapy for himself, which he said he needed ages ago. And he arranged it for Noemi, too. Plus, his 4 moms, his aunts, they came through big time.
The ones who'd been secretly saving for his wedding?
Those are the ones. Gave him the financial and emotional backing he needed to finally leave, resigned his job, canceled the lease, moved away, started cutting ties.
Good for him. And the legal case. The video.
Hit a dead end. The guy in the video, the affair partner, a Korean national she met online for a fling.
Just a fling. But the video showed different rooms.
Right. She claimed only fucked once, but the video suggested otherwise. And crucially, the lawyer said everything but the recording was consented.
Meaning the sex was consensual, just not the filming.
Apparently so. And with the guy in Korea, no direct proof he set up cameras or uploaded it. The lawyer basically said pursuing it would be incredibly expensive with almost no chance of success.
That's awful. Just no recourse.
It highlights a huge issue, especially with digital privacy crossing borders. Even though the Philippines, where this happened, was actually the first country to outlaw revenge porn.
And it connects to that Molka problem in South Korea. Hidden camera porn.
Exactly. The comments on the Reddit threads speculated that the niche porn Mike was watching might have been related to that, like Asian male, non-Asian female, or specifically hidden cam stuff. It's a disturbing reality.
So in the end, OP never found out why she did it.
Nope. And he decided it doesn't matter anymore. He's focused on his own healing, recognized he was a good partner, and found strength in his support system. But he also said he did not walk away unscathed. He's just all right.
Understandable. That kind of betrayal leaves deep scars.
All right, moving on to the next story.
Here we have a 27-year-old woman. Her 28-year-old boyfriend of 7 years suddenly announces he wants a 1-year break to find himself.
The classic line.
Exactly. He told her everything in his life was difficult, his job, his finances, his overall happiness, yet insisted she was the only good thing.
But he still wanted the break from the only good thing.
Makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
Despite that, he still wanted this break.
This is a pattern we see so often, the I need to find myself, or I'm not okay with where I am excuse. While it sounds like it's about self-improvement, it often masks a deeper unwillingness to commit, or, more commonly, a desire to explore other options without officially ending things.
Hedging his bets.
Pretty much. But her clear boundary setting here was crucial. She rightly told him she wouldn't be sitting with my arms folded just waiting.
Good for her.
And that if he left, it's done. That assertion of self-respect is just vital in these situations.
And her intuition was absolutely spot on. While he initially promised, oh, I didn't want to live without you.
Empty words.
Totally. He eventually moved out. Then just 3 weeks later, guess what?
Let me guess, he came back?
Crawling back. Claiming he'd lost his new place and needed shelter.
Unbelievable.
She, out of kindness, took him in for 2 months, but her resentment just steadily grew.
I bet.
But here's the kicker. She later discovered he had been cheating on her since before he even asked for the break.
There it is, confirmed by his boss and a mutual friend, no less.
Yep. So the whole finding myself was a complete fabrication.
This story just perfectly illustrates the manipulative nature of so many break proposals. He didn't just use the break as a transparent cover for his affair,
Right.
but then he tried to leverage her compassion and kindness for shelter when his new situation fell apart. It's just using her.
Completely.
And the collective wisdom from these online communities, it consistently identifies this as a clear sign of infidelity. I remember one comment summing it up perfectly. There is rarely a time when someone says, I want to take a break, that they don't already have another relationship lined up.
It seems depressingly common.
All right, moving on to the next story.
We have this scenario that really gained traction online. People call it the open relationship reverse Uno.
Right, I remember this one.
So picture this,
Yay.
a 29-year-old husband, his 30-year-old wife. They've been together 7 years, married for 4, even talking about starting a family.
So stable on the surface.
Totally. Everything seemed incredibly stable.
Yeah.
But then, kind of out of the blue, the wife proposes opening their previously monogamous relationship.
Wow.
The husband admits he was deeply uncomfortable. His preference was definitely to remain monogamous.
And what's particularly insightful here, I think, is the wife's persistence despite his discomfort.
Yeah.
She outlines specific boundaries, Always prioritize the spouse, use protection, no partners in their shared home, no overly emotional connections. And this is crucial when he voiced concern about the emotional part, saying, look, I'm an emotional person.
Mm-hmm.
She just dismissed it. She actually said, it's hard for men to form emotional relationships in such cases anyways.
Ooh.
That right there, that's a huge red flag. It's dismissive of his feelings, and it's like she's underestimating his capacity for emotional connection.
That dismissive attitude is so telling.
Well,
Given that, how much of what happened next was really predictable, in the grand scheme of things?
pretty predictable in these contexts, actually.
Right. Because predictably, she quickly found another partner.
Mm-hmm.
The husband, meanwhile, who'd been with her since his first relationship, initially lacked confidence in his dating prospects.
Sure, that makes sense.
But he eventually decided, okay, I'll try exploring this non-monogamy thing myself. And get this, to his genuine surprise, he was flocked with interest from younger or around my age women.
Huh, okay.
He mentioned, maturing had done him good, but he didn't expect this. He started talking to multiple people, eventually settling on one.
And the wife's reaction.
Striking.
Yeah.
When he shared this, she was surprised, even commenting that she is shocked how beautiful this woman is, and he was able to get her.
Wow. That's quite the backhanded compliment, isn't it? That phrase alone speaks volumes.
Totally.
This pattern really illuminates a critical, often subconscious power dynamic. The initiator of a major shift like this, especially non-monogamy, frequently assumes their partner won't successfully adapt or thrive.
Like they won't find anyone else.
Exactly. The proposal can even serve as sort of a preemptive justification for their own actions, existing or anticipated. Online communities consistently point out when one partner pushes for non-monogamy out of nowhere, it often signals they either already have someone lined up or they're trying to legitimize cheating they're already doing. It's a familiar story, sadly, and it shows how trying to control the narrative can just backfire spectacularly.
And how did this reverse Uno ultimately play out?
Wow.
The husband formed a deep emotional connection with his new partner. He realized he'd lost that vital connection with his wife. So when he told her he wanted a divorce, she reacted with intense emotion, crying, offering couples counseling.
But the damage was done.
For him, yeah, it was too late. He felt this deep-seated resentment had just built up. He even tried to limit physical contact with his new partner, hoping for a smoother divorce. But his ex-wife ultimately refused to make it amicable.
So the attempt to unilaterally redefine the relationship ended with him pulling the plug.
Exactly.
This case really demonstrates what's sometimes called poly under duress, or PUD.
PUB, right.
Where a monogamous person feels pressured into an open marriage, maybe with the implicit threat of the relationship ending if they don't agree.
Yeah, like do this or we're over.
Precisely. And it consistently shows a stark truth. When a relationship structure is coerced rather than, mutually and enthusiastically embraced, the foundation of trust just inevitably erodes.
And it often leads to the very thing they claim they wanted to avoid, the breakup.
Exactly, the dissolution.
Our next story dives into a different but equally destructive manifestation of control within an open relationship.
Okay.
Here, it's not about unexpected success, but about that insidious jealousy that can erupt, even from the initiator of the open agreement.
Ah, yes. The classic rules for D, but not for me situation.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
This time, it's a 35-year-old wife. Her 36-year-old husband suggested opening their marriage over the summer. She wasn't, as she put it, totally for it, but she went along.
Reluctantly, perhaps.
Seems like it. Things seemed okay-ish until she started dating someone named Evan.
And that's when the initiating husband's issues surfaced.
Bingo. The irony is just striking here. The husband, who started this whole thing, began displaying classic controlling and jealous behavior.
Even though they agreed to a don't ask, don't tell policy.
Yep. Which usually means partners avoid sharing explicit details to maintain some privacy or emotional distance.
Right. Keep things separate.
But he started pestering her for details about her time with Evan, downplaying anything positive she shared. He even, deliberately sabotaged her dates.
Sabotaged how?
Things like oversleeping so she couldn't get to the airport for a trip with Evan, or conveniently forgetting to fill the car's gas tank. Just petty, controlling stuff.
Wow. That's blatant manipulation.
Totally. He became increasingly critical, policing her outfits, worrying about neighbors seeing Evan's car. He even lost it when Evan sent her flowers, claiming it was dangerous.
Dangerous flowers.
Right. It's quite remarkable how consistent this pattern can be. He used to joke about her not receiving chivalrous gestures, but when Evan started treating her well,
He couldn't handle it.
nope. He banned gifts, claiming it violated their don't ask, don't tell rule, which makes no sense.
It doesn't.
The wife stated they had agreed to allow emotional connections, hookups, casual dating, but her husband suddenly claimed he only did strictly sex and none of that lovey-dovey bullsh.
Ah, the hypocrisy. So he wanted different rules for himself.
Exactly. The breaking point came when he publicly humiliated her in front of his friends, saying something like, "You're really going to leave me to go be with him?"
Oh, in public. That's awful. This just reveals a critical issue, a fundamental misalignment in what each partner actually expected or maybe wanted from the open part.
Yeah, definitely not on the same page.
She clearly wanted a one-sided deal. He gets casual encounters but reacts with extreme jealousy and manipulation when she forms a meaningful connection.
It's that classic F around and find out scenario, isn't it?
It really is. A blunt term, but accurate. It describes those predictable, often negative consequences when someone acts without fully considering the repercussions, especially in complex agreements like this.
And his tendency to become a mean drunk just became another tool for his jealousy.
A thinly veiled one, it sounds like. A way to lash out without maybe taking full responsibility later.
So how did it end? The story concludes with the wife realizing she was basically being punished for pursuing her connection with Evan, and that his actions, including snooping through her phone, were deeply emotionally manipulative. So she filed for divorce.
Good for her.
Despite his pleas for reconciliation, she said she just couldn't stay with someone who couldn't communicate genuinely.
Another relationship dissolved when the open agreement was really just a cover for one partner's hidden agenda and control issues.
Yeah, seems to be a theme.
All right, moving on to the next story.
This one's different. It's from the perspective of a spouse who feels she contributed to her husband cheating.
Right, a very different angle. This is a 35-year-old wife, married 12 years, 2 young kids, and she's recounting her husband's infidelity with someone called S.
And she takes some responsibility. That's unusual for these kinds of posts.
Highly unusual. It immediately brings up questions of accountability, relationship dynamics. She describes herself as being completely consumed by a demanding career, to the point where she neglected her husband. She admits denying him sex, belittling him in every step, told him to man up because she was the breadwinner. Even though he'd sacrificed his own business to be a stay-at-home dad for their kids, she said she was caught up in this adrenaline rush from work and friends, missing family stuff, ignoring his needs.
So she paints a picture of significant neglect and, well, emotional abuse, really.
That's how she frames it, yes. Very self-critically.
How did the actual cheating happen, according to her?
She says her husband stormed out after a huge fight. Apparently, he told her she needed to stop dwelling on her parents' deaths, which sounds harsh, but maybe points to ongoing issues. He went straight to S's house, and they slept together.
Just like that.
That's her account. She claims it was a one-time physical thing, born from an existing emotional connection. Her husband apparently told her that S mended him.
Mended him. Wow. And the wife's reaction to this?
Profound self-blame. She literally says, I was the cause of his cheating and he is the effect of my negligence. And I paved the way for my husband to cheat. Just taking it all on herself.
That's intense.
It is. And she later reveals she has a diagnosis of bipolar 2, which, is a serious mental health condition involving mood swings, depression, hypomania. It can definitely affect judgment, perception, relationships. It adds another complex layer to her narrative and self-blame.
Absolutely. It doesn't excuse behavior, maybe, but it adds context.
For sure. And then there's this really striking detail. She actually spoke to S, the affair partner.
She talked to the other woman. What happened?
According to the wife, S apologized, assured her it was consensual and a one-time thing. And the wife, she told S to take care of him.
She told the affair partner to take care of her husband.
Yeah. Astonishing, right?
That is really something. This whole story, it just flips the usual script. It forces you to look beyond simple villain-victim narratives.
It really does, especially with the mental health aspect adding complexity. And it sparked huge debate online, as you can imagine.
I bet. What was the general consensus, or was there one?
No easy consensus. Surprisingly, given how Reddit usually reacts to cheating, a lot of people actually sided with the husband, pointing to the wife's own description of her neglect and emotional abuse.
So, some sympathy for the cheater based on the wife's account?
Quite a bit, yeah. But then others were deeply skeptical of the whole story.
So skeptical, why?
They pointed out things that felt inconsistent or maybe stereotypical, phrases like denying him sex, the almost unbelievably fast divorce timeline she mentioned later, her saying she belittled him, but also claiming she never told anything that would hurt him.
Right, those internal contradictions.
Exactly. It fueled skepticism about whether the story was entirely genuine or perhaps slanted in a particular way. So the discussion was really complex, messy, contradictory.
Our next deep dive takes us into a much longer-term relationship. We're talking about a couple who got together back in 2010, married in 2016. So years of shared history.
Right. And here, the issue isn't something happening now, but a secret bubbling up from the very beginning of their time together.
The husband, who's 38, he's our OOP again, he accidentally overhears his wife, who's 36, talking to her sister.
And it's one of those moments you almost wish you hadn't heard. He hears his wife say quite clearly, "My name can never know about this."
Oof. That's like, what was the...
She then revealed to her sister that she had slept with a guy who was a lab assistant back in 2010. Crucially, she specified it was after we started dating.
Wow. So early on, but they were officially together.
Yes. And she tried to explain her reasoning to her sister, saying things like, "I wasn't sure things with my name would work out at the time, and I just allowed myself to do it. I felt guilty once I saw how much he loved me and treated me well, and I could see a future with him." She also claimed it was just that one time.
So OOP overhears all this. How did he react?
Understandably, he was incredibly hurt. He said it felt like she had just cheated on me right then and there, despite all the years of what he thought was a good, trusting marriage.
This just adds so many layers, doesn't it? The length of time the secret was kept.
Exactly. First, there's the sheer impact of uncovering a secret that old. It wasn't recent, but it felt fresh because the knowledge was fresh, and it makes you question the foundation, you know?
For sure. What else does this case bring up?
Well, a key thing is how OOP handled it after he overheard it. He didn't confront her immediately in anger. He actually went to his therapist first to process it. Then he approached his wife calmly, which really highlights how important thoughtful communication is, even maybe especially when dealing with incredibly painful truths.
That sounds like a very measured approach. I bet the comment section on this one was lively.
Oh, definitely. One huge point of contention was this whole hookup versus slept with thing.
Ah, right. She later tried to clarify what she meant.
Yes. When confronted, she claimed slept with was maybe a poor translation or an exaggeration to her sister. She insisted it was just making out, not sex.
How did that go down with commenters?
A lot of skepticism. Many felt she was trickle-truthing, revealing the story in stages to lessen the blow, or just outright lying to minimize how bad it sounded to her husband. The argument was, why would you exaggerate wrongdoing to your sister where there's basically nothing on the line?
But then downplay it to your husband where everything is on the line.
Exactly. It didn't seem logical to many people.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And there was some confusion about when exactly this happened relative to them being exclusive.
Right. OP had to clarify because of language differences. He said, after we started dating, definitely meant they were exclusive. He mentioned the Portuguese term namor implies exclusivity, which is a good reminder about cultural nuances in dating terms.
Okay, so they were exclusive. What was her reason for the mistake, as she called it?
She apparently attributed it to being young and naive, influenced by bad friends, and being afraid OOP would leave her if he knew.
How did people react to that explanation?
Well, OOP said he believed her sincerity, But many commenters felt it sounded like blame shifting, blaming youth, friends, fear, rather than taking full ownership for the action and for hiding it for over a decade.
Right, the hiding is a separate act, really. It keeps coming back to that cover-up is worse than the crime idea.
Yeah.
But is it always? I know OOP's therapist suggested focusing on why she hid it more than the infidelity itself.
Yes, and that perspective really divided the commenters. Some agreed the long-term deception, the lie, felt like the deeper betrayal because it undermined the entire relationship's perceived honesty. Others felt that minimizing the infidelity itself was problematic. They argued the physical act was the core betrayal, or at least equally significant.
So, no easy answer there on which is worse. It probably depends on the person.
Very much so. It touches on how individuals define trust and betrayal within their own value systems.
And despite all this, OOP chose to forgive her.
He did. He wrote that he believed she was genuinely remorseful. The relationship continued, though, interestingly, they decided to change their official relationship anniversary date, acknowledging this hidden beginning.
Wow. That's a significant adjustment. This story really makes you think about what constitutes a deal breaker after so many years together, and whether you can ever truly reconcile with such a deep, long-held lie.
All right, moving on to the next story.
We're looking at a situation that feels very contemporary. It's that struggle with commitment even after years together.
Yeah, this one involves a 27-year-old woman and her 26-year-old boyfriend. They'd been a couple for 6 years, living together for 2 of those years.
So pretty established. And they weren't just coasting, they'd had serious talks.
Explicit talks about marriage, about babies. They'd apparently explicitly decided they would get married, setting a target of January 2019.
Okay, so the intention seems clear. Our OP, the woman, even sent him links for rings about a year before that target date.
Right. She was expecting a proposal maybe within the next 3 months or so. She specifically hoped it might happen on a hiking trip they had planned for March or April, which was meaningful to them.
But the proposal didn't happen on the trip.
No, and she was, understandably, really disappointed. She felt like after 6 years, he didn't know her well enough to understand how important that timing or that trip was.
What was his reason? Or excuse?
Initially, he claimed time had gone by so fast and he just hadn't planned the proposal in time.
Feels a bit weak after agreeing on a time frame.
It does. Then, about a month later, after some mysterious appointments, which she presumed were related to ring shopping, he dropped the bomb.
Oh no, what did he say?
He admitted he felt a lot of pressure to propose, and that just before he was about to finalize buying a ring, he got a bad feeling.
A bad feeling.
About what? He said he suddenly felt they hadn't had enough discussions and that he needed more time.
After 6 years together and explicit talks about marriage, wow, OOP must have been devastated.
Completely. She said she felt completely floored, lied to, betrayed, like they were no longer a team. She was heartbroken, but also couldn't quite imagine breaking up at that moment.
This really hits on that crucial need for aligned goals, doesn't it? And not just saying you're aligned, but actually being aligned.
Absolutely. That bad feeling about not having enough discussions after 6 years, that was a massive red flag, both for OOP and for pretty much everyone commenting. It signals a fundamental misalignment, or at least a lack of honest communication about his true feelings all along.
What was the main narrative coming out of the comments on this one?
The overwhelming sentiment was that the boyfriend wasn't being honest about his desire or lack thereof for marriage, that he was stringing her along.
Right. You hear phrases like, delay is the deadliest form of denial.
Exactly. And if you wanted to, he would. Those came up constantly. It reflects a pretty common understanding or maybe frustration with this kind of dynamic.
Did the wife privileges at a girlfriend price idea come up too?
Oh, definitely. Many commenters suggested he was comfortable with the status quo, enjoying the benefits of a live-in partnership without the formal commitment.
And there's that other prediction you sometimes hear in these situations.
The he'll marry the next one quickly trope. Yes, that was a very common prediction. The idea being that it's often not that the person is not ready for marriage in general, but rather not ready for marriage to the specific person. And they move on quickly once the long-term relationship ends.
It's a painful pattern to observe.
What about their ages? They started young.
They did, 20 and 21. But by the time this happened, they were 26 and 27. After 6 years together, most commenters felt that by then he should have clarity on his intentions. The issue wasn't necessarily the age itself, but his perceived dishonesty about his lack of readiness or desire.
Yeah, it's the communication breakdown again. And it sparked some discussion about proposals themselves, didn't it?
It did. Like, what's the point of a proposal if you've already agreed to get married? Is it a final commitment statement or more of an outdated social performance? Some argued that agreeing on a wedding date is the engagement, really.
Interesting point. So how did this one end? Did he ever get ready? No. The relationship ended about 3 months after that bad feeling conversation. He finally admitted he simply didn't want to get married, wasn't ready, and crucially, didn't know when he would be.
Ugh. Painful, but probably necessary for her to hear the truth, finally.
Absolutely. A necessary, though heartbreaking realization for OPB, unpacking the threads, lessons in trust and transparency. Moving on to the next story.
This discovery method is, well, you said cinematic.
Yeah, it kind of is. So, a husband installs a security camera. But not because he suspects anything, it's just for safety, you know? There was an incident in the neighborhood.
Right, standard stuff these days.
Totally. The first little red flag, though, was super subtle. His wife usually takes public transport home. That's the routine.
Okay.
But he's reviewing footage, looking for a package delivery or something, and he sees her. Walking it to the door, she pauses, smiles, and waves at a car pulling away.
Not public transport, then.
Nope. So he asks casually, was that an Uber? And the story starts to crumble. First it's, maybe Uber, I forgot. Then finally, oh, it was a coworker.
The changing story, that's always a tell, isn't it? So his gut feeling must have just...
Kick right in, yeah. And what he did next, it shows some real discipline, investigative discipline.
What did he do?
He didn't just stop there. He expanded his search, looked back through more footage, discovered the same car dropping her off multiple times a week.
Oh, wow.
And even picking her up some mornings when he left for work early.
So it was a pattern, a secret pattern.
A clear pattern. And when he confronted her with this mounting evidence, her reaction, classic gaslighting.
Ah, yes. Tell us what that looked like.
She got defensive, accused him of being obsessive and paranoid, called him crazy, trying to make him doubt what he literally saw on video.
That's infuriating.
Yeah.
Especially when you have proof.
Exactly. And they even had an open phone policy, apparently. He hadn't found suspicious messages there, initially anyway. But the hiding, the lying, that was the big thing.
So how did it escalate from there? Did the drop-offs continue?
Well, this is key. After he confronted her, the drop-offs right at the house stopped, abruptly.
Confirming his suspicions, basically.
Undeniably. So then he gets strategic. He follows her one day, sees her deliberately walk around the corner out of the camera's view.
To meet the car.
To meet the coworker's car.
Yep.
And the final blow, he waited outside her office one lunchtime, saw them leave together, go to a park.
Oh, no.
And, quote, made out like fucking teenagers. His words. And he filmed it. Got it all on video.
Wow. Just wow. What strikes me there is how that digital evidence, the camera footage, it just changes everything.
Completely.
In the past, she could maybe deny, obfuscate. But with video, it strips away the gaslighting. It forces a confrontation with reality.
Precisely. It shifts the focus immediately from, did you cheat?
Yeah.
Which are the video answers, to, okay, what do we do now? Big difference.
Huge difference. Okay, so we've seen how these things were discovered. Phone check, camera evidence, very different paths. Now let's talk about the aftermath. What happens after the truth is out? And how did the online communities react? Let's go back to the first guy, the 27-year-old.
Right. So after that discovery, the messages, the humiliation, he described himself as feeling scared and lost, just completely adrift.
Understandable.
He wrestled with how to actually leave. He wrote this long letter initially, poured everything out, but then he decided against it.
Why?
He opted for just a short, sharp note instead. Left it for his girlfriend. It just said, I left. I know about you and him. I'm so utterly disappointed in you. I won't be answering my phone, and I wish for you not to contact me.
Direct. Painful, but direct.
Very. And he talks about just letting out a nice cry in the shower and this heartbreaking detail about his cat sensing something was wrong, acting differently around him.
Oh, that just...
Yeah.
That hammers home the raw emotion, doesn't it? Animals know.
They really do. That visceral reaction, that deep pain. It's such a common thread in these stories.
Did the girlfriend offer any explanation later?
She did, days later. Her explanation was basically that it was all her. She felt stuck in life, aimless. The attention from the friend was a distraction.
The it's not you, it's me defense.
Pretty much. She claimed she didn't really mean the things she said, that it almost felt like a game, but insisted she never actually intended to hurt him.
Which probably doesn't help much when you're the one who's deeply hurt.
Not usually, no. The online reaction to his story, though, was largely supportive. People validated his pain, his decision to leave. They focused on the emotional processing needed.
And what was the final update? How was he doing?
About a month later, he updated. He was moving into a new place. He was being civil with the ex, figuring out logistics, planning his future, solo.
Moving forward.
Yeah. And he noted his ex was, quote, not doing anything with that guy, just wants to focus on herself and bettering herself. So a glimpse of that complicated path to healing. It takes time.
It really does. Okay, now let's contrast that immediate emotional exit with the husband in the second story.
Yeah.
The one with the camera footage.
Right, such a different approach.
Despite being, as he put it, heartbroken and shaking with rage.
Yeah.
He showed incredible discipline. He decided not to confront his wife right away.
Which is incredibly hard to do in that moment, flooded with emotion.
I can only imagine. Why did he hold back?
His kids. He had 2 very young children, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. His absolute priority became protecting them and preparing legally.
Ah, okay. Strategy over immediate confrontation.
Exactly. His plan was to first hire a PI, a private investigator, to get the full picture of the affair. How long, how deep, etc.
Gather more evidence.
Yep. And simultaneously contact divorce attorneys and scheduling initial consultations. Get his legal ducks in a row before the confrontation.
Smart. Very calculated. How did the online community react to that?
Overwhelmingly positive, actually. People praised his strategic thinking, his foresight, lots of comments about the importance of getting legal advice and evidence, especially with kids and assets involved.
The get your ducks in a row advice is common on Reddit in these situations, isn't it?
Very common. This story became a prime example of why that's often recommended. Control the emotion, focus on the long-term, legally sound outcome.
So praise for the strategy. Was there any discussion about the emotional side of delaying that confrontation? That must take a toll too.
There was some of that, yeah. While people lauded the pragmatism, some did acknowledge the immense emotional burden of carrying that secret, of pretending normalcy while gathering evidence. It's effective, but it's definitely not easy on the person doing it.
No, absolutely not.
Moving on to the next story.
It's about a partner attending an ex's birthday party without mentioning it. Our first case involves a 29-year-old man and his girlfriend, Lena, who's 27. They've been dating for about 10 months. Things seem serious. They were even talking about moving in together.
Right. So the setup seems pretty standard. Lena tells him she's going out with some college friends.
Sounds normal, right? Nothing to worry about there.
But then the next day, he sees something on Instagram, a friend's story. The caption was, "Happy birthday, Jason."
Ah, and Jason turns out to be Lena's ex-boyfriend, someone she dated for 3 years.
Yep. She'd broken up with him about a year before meeting our OOP, that's the original poster. And she'd previously told OOP they were on decent terms, but not really close. So not exactly just some random acquaintance.
Okay, so OOP naturally asks her about it.
Yeah.
And her reaction is, well, it's key, isn't it?
It really is. The post says she was a little surprised, but then got defensive pretty quickly.
Yeah, she said things like, it wasn't a big deal, and I didn't think it mattered, even accused him of making something out of nothing.
Which immediately puts him on the back foot.
Right. He felt she kind of did hide it, like she intentionally kept it vague so I wouldn't ask questions. And he made it clear he wasn't accusing her of cheating, but just the fact she didn't mention it. It rubbed him the wrong way, left him feeling sidelined.
And that's where the whole focus shifted, wasn't it? In the comments online, people jumped on that.
They did. It wasn't so much what happened at the party itself, but how she handled the conversation afterwards.
Exactly. The secrecy, the defensiveness, those became the real red flags for people. Someone called it an orange-reddish flag, specifically her defensiveness instead of offering, reassurance.
That makes sense. And there was this idea that came up a lot.
Yeah.
If you feel like you have to hide something.
It makes it suspicious. Even if the action itself wasn't inherently bad, the hiding casts a shadow.
And what about that specific line she apparently used later, when she admitted she didn't tell him because she knew how I'd react?
Oh, that line. Yeah, they got a lot of attention. Commenters really saw that as an admission of intentional deception.
Like a manipulation tactic.
Pretty much. The reasoning often goes, if you know someone will react negatively and you hide it for that reason, you knew you were doing something potentially hurtful or boundary crossing. It suggests she knew it was problematic, but chose to manage his potential reaction instead of just being upfront.
It's like trying to control the outcome by controlling the information.
Precisely. And the concept of a double standard also came up. OOP confirmed Lena definitely wouldn't be okay with it if the roles were reversed.
And those dismissive phrases like, it's not that deep, they just shut down the conversation, don't they?
Completely. They invalidate the partner's feelings. It basically says, your concern isn't legitimate.
There was also talk about that saying, better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Right. And people were quick to point out that's meant for, like, emergencies, maybe, not for intentionally avoiding a necessary, if potentially difficult, conversation in your relationship.
So the overall theme that really resonated was the cover-up is worse than the crime.
Absolutely. The hiding, the defensiveness, the perceived manipulation, that became the core issue that destroyed the trust.
And the outcome here. How did it wrap up?
Well, OP tried to discuss it calmly, but Lena apparently remained avoidant, dismissive, even rolled her eyes at first.
Well, not a great sign for communication.
Not at all. The relationship ended just 10 days later. OOP realized they just had fundamentally different views on what communication and trust looked like in a relationship. And he mentioned feeling relieved that he trusted his gut feeling about the whole situation. All right, moving on to the next story.
Can you imagine this? You're in an 8-year relationship, building a life.
Yeah.
And then this nagging suspicion, this feeling, it leads you to do that thing, the thing maybe you shouldn't, but you do, looking through your partner's phone.
Right. And what's really fascinating here is how that initial suspicion combined with denial, it just fuels the fire, you know? So this guy, he's 27, finds messages from a mutual friend on his girlfriend's phone. She's 25. And the messages are, well, he called them concerning.
Okay. Vague, but...
Enough to ask.
Yeah.
He gives her multiple chances to come clean, starts vague, gets more specific, and she denies it.
Denies everything.
At first. Then she admits, okay, yeah, the friend flirted, but insists she wasn't into it. She wasn't reciprocating.
The classic minimization.
Yeah.
But that often just makes you dig deeper, doesn't it?
Exactly. And that's what he did. He kept looking, and what he found was much worse.
Oh.
He found the full extent. Messages where she wasn't just flirting back, calling each other hot and sexy, talking about wanting to, sleep together.
Oh, wow.
But also messages where she took the time to insult me to him. That's his quote.
Oof. That's brutal.
It is. He said he felt broken, hurt so much, but the real kicker, the thing that seemed to just destroy him...
What was it?
It was the implication that they wanted him to find out. The affair partner apparently wanted to, quote, make a word of me, and the girlfriend seemed into it.
So it wasn't just cheating, it was intentional humiliation.
It looks that way. A layer of malice of wanting to actively shame him, that's a different level of betrayal.
Definitely. It's not just breaking trust, it's attacking someone's dignity. Okay, deep breath. On to our final story. This one gets dark. Neglectful father, an underage affair, and a truly horrifying baby trap revelation.
Yeah, this one is heavy. Starts with OOP, 32F, and her ex-husband Cam, 34M. Married 6 years, together 16, with a 4-year-old daughter, Mia.
16 years together, wow.
And the breakup. Caused by Cam's affair with Sky, who was just 18 at the time. Barely legal, as OOP put it.
And Cam was just nonchalant about the divorce.
Pretty much. Indifferent to OOP, but initially willing to pay Sky's tuition. The real breaking point for OOP, though, was about their daughter.
Mia's ballet recital.
Yes. Cam missed it because Sky answered his phone and said he was busy. That indifference to his daughter, compared to his later intense grief when Sky left him, that's what really struck OOP. It felt like such a disregard for their shared history and child.
That discrepancy in his emotional reactions is a huge red flag.
Definitely. And after the breakup, things got uglier. Sky and her friends found OOP's Reddit post and started harassing her. Spam calls, insults. Oh, yeah. But OOP handled it. Recorded calls, threatened police involvement, reported Sky to her college, said the college took care of her. She also set firm boundaries with Cam about seeing Mia no coming into her house.
Good for her. Setting boundaries is key. So Cam's narrative at this point, he was the victim.
That's what he tried to sell. Sky was a gold-digging whore, threatened to expose him unless he paid tuition. He was raging about her seeing other guys. It didn't quite add up for OP, especially his sudden rage after seeming so broken up about Sky leaving him.
The pieces weren't fitting. She ended up using Cam's mom to manage visits.
Yeah, smart move to avoid direct contact. And then, the truth bomb. Delivered by Matt, Cam's long-term friend.
The friend snitched.
Completely. Laid it all out, and the details. They change everything. First, the statutory rape.
Wait, statutory? How old was Sky when it started?
16. The affair lasted 2 years before OOP found out, meaning Cam was sexually involved with a minor for 2 years while married.
Oh my God. That's not just cheating, that's a crime.
A serious crime. And Matt detailed the grooming and abuse, too. Cam was controlling, emotionally abusive, jealous of her college life, isolated her from her parents.
Textbook grooming tactics. Isolation control.
Exactly. And the tuition money. It wasn't blackmail payment. It was control. Paying it kept Skye dependent and quiet about the underage relationship. When she inherited money from her dad who passed away, Cam was apparently pissed.
Because she wouldn't need him anymore. She'd have freedom.
Precisely. His control was slipping. But the worst part, the absolute darkest layer.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
Skye got pregnant, and she found texts where Cam admitted he'd been messing with her birth control pills to deliberately baby trap her.
No.
That's
Like reproductive coercion.
Yeah.
What a profound violation. Skye had an abortion. That's what led to their final breakup, and that's what triggered Cam's supposed depression. It wasn't heartbreak. It was rage at losing control, at his trap failing.
Unbelievable. How did OOP react to hearing all this? Pure disgust, immediate decision. Cam is never, ever going to be around Mia again. Permanent cutoff. His mother tried to intervene, but OOP stood firm.
I don't blame her one bit.
Not at all. OOP did express some confusion about why Skye stayed so long, eventually concluding they were made for each other because of Skye's own bad vibes and seeming enjoyment of the mistress role.
That's complex. Victim blaming maybe, or just trying to process unimaginable behavior.
It's hard to say from the outside. Abusive dynamics are incredibly complex, lines get blurred, but OP's focus shifted entirely to protecting Mia.
And herself. How's she doing now?
Taking positive steps, working out, dating someone new, reflecting on her choices, but mainly focused on Mia's future well-being.
This story really drives home that missing reasons idea. The things that don't make sense initially often hide something much, much darker.
Absolutely. All those confusing details about Cam's behavior suddenly clicked into a horrifying picture once Matt revealed the full context. You have to peel back all those layers. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive today. We hope it gave you plenty to consider.